Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm so excited to bring you this very, very rare custom tenor size instrument right here. Maybe you folks are familiar with that logo. It's an altered logo of the famous KoAloha K brand, one of the main K brand or K Hawaiian brand ukuleles made here in Hawaii. Um, this is a custom black label tenor size ukulele. And what I was saying about the inlay or the headstock right here with the wings of the KK or the K KoAloha. What's cool about this is that if you folks are familiar with KoAloha or you own a KoAloha, you'll see that there's a slight variation with this emblem here on the top. Usually when you get a red label, which is like the next step above the factory models that you can purchase, and then the black label, which is the coveted, like super rare and really just amazing. All the colos are amazing, but especially that black label, just such an amazing instrument. When you have the red or black label, you have these wings that stick out that you can't find on the ordinary KoAloha model. So that's one quick way to notice, like, hey, there's like wings that stick out, so you can tell like this is either a red or a black label model from KoAloha, custom made. This is a phenomenal instrument. And just a little backstory about my experience with black labels. About a few years ago, I had an opportunity to play quite a few, maybe 4 5 different black labels. And at the time, I didn't really know too much of the significance of how just rare and exciting it was to have a black label. I was still kind of new with the whole, doing sound samples. Like, wow, these are, wonderful instruments. But now looking back, I'm like, man, I should have really savored the moment even more. So here I am just savoring this moment and excited to go ahead and talk about this instrument with you. But one of my favorite ukuleles that I've played, and not brands, but just one of my favorite ukuleles that so happenly was a black label instrument built by KoAloha. If you folks are familiar with Neil Chin, he's up in Seattle, and he owns and plays a custom black label KoAloha, as he's a KoAloha artist. And his Brazilian rosewood cedar top instrument was one of, and he knows this. Every time he comes and visits to Hawaii, and I get to play his instrument, it's like one of the best instruments I've ever played. And to me, that's just the standard that black labels like this creates and exudes. It's just one of those instruments that you just play a chord and it just has so much tone and the precision and the balance, and I love how much mid-range this instrument has. It's so clean, and it just, wow, I mean, nice sense of warmth and clarity. It's just the KoAloha sound from if you play the bass tenor model or any of the soprano concert tenor models. This is really that KoAloha sound where this has so much nice warmth, low ends, but a lot of those punchy high trebles, especially like on the A string and the E string, just really cuts through. Just listen to that, crazy good. So clean, but that's just what you get when you get to play like something of this caliber, a black label. I mean, it's just, again, it's just really rare. It's not a lot of them are built nowadays. So if you see one pop up on the market or just see one, I mean, if you have the opportunity, grab it, because it's so worth it. And I literally haven't played, I've sound sampled so many different customs and historical ukuleles. I just haven't seen a block label like this for years, and I've played a lot of instruments in the meantime. So to be able to share another one with you folks is very exciting, especially where my headspace is at versus years ago where I was like, oh yay, another ukulele to play, yo, sounds good, but not really realizing the significance and the value like that I'm holding and playing. So amazing instrument. Hopefully you guys can hear through the sounds. Just, oh man, this is like my kind of sound. This is amazing, and the playability is just so easy. The setup is perfect, nice and low, so I don't have to press hard for these bar chords or even these more complicated chords. Just listen how clean. Still going. Yeah, phenomenal instrument. If you want to hear when I mentioned Neil's instrument earlier, if you want to check out Neil, you can check him out on YouTube or check him out on his Instagram or social media platforms or neilchin.com. Go hit him up, show him some support and love. He writes his own music, does so many jazz covers, but if you want to hear his instrument or his black label in action, I mean, that's what he plays. It's just it's a chef's kiss, and it's always a pleasure to be able to play his black label. But playing this just reminds me a lot of his. It just reminds me of how like special black label KoAloha ukuleles are. So now going into the build of this one, you got red spruce or Adirondack spruce. It's one of the golden spruces that you can go ahead and get. Many different types of spruce, but Adirondack is one of those just really good types of spruce wood that you can go ahead and get. Really beautiful. At first I thought this was curly koa, like really stacked really tightly with the nice sapwood, but this is actually cumin mahogany, and it's pretty phenomenal how tight the grain pattern is and just how orange it is, how reminiscent it is of koa. But man, this is a beautiful, perfect piece of, I mean, I would love to have something like this in terms of having a cumin mahogany sides and back. This is stunning, really. It's beautiful. And good to note that this is a satin finish, so it just has a different type of sheen and different type of, maybe patina is the right word or not, but without the gloss finish, man, it just hits differently, and in a good way. It's just really nice. We also have a gloss finish here on the front so that you can really see the sparkliness of the spruce top. And then, although it's subtle, we have a koa binding or curly koa binding here, an orange piece of curly koa on the top and back of the binding on both sides of the instrument. The typical musubi, or what KoAloha is known for, the musubi shaped sound hole, ebony bridge, fretboard, and headstock, again with that KoAloha emblem with the wings that spread out on the top. And then hip shot tuners here on the back. Only KoAloha, to my knowledge, uses these, and they're pretty sweet, pretty awesome to use, super accurate, very easy to use. Another thing I like about KoAloha is that they have a thinner than normal type of neck. If you look at over here, sometimes the shape of necks varies between different custom ukuleles, especially, or like more factory made model ukuleles. Sometimes the neck will stick out more this much. Sometimes it might be a lot more rounded, like this, like a D shape. This is more of a flatter neck. So what does that mean for someone like me or for someone like you? It's your thumb will be closer to your finger. So like, let's say you're trying to hit a bar chord like this, your thumb will be closer to that pinch point, meaning it's not going to be so thick of how it activates this muscle over here, because holding something like this is a lot different than holding something like this where it's closer as a pinch point. And just holding chords in general, you have a thinner neck. For me, it feels really nice, but it just depends on the anatomy of your hand. I'm not saying thinner necks are the best way to go, but for someone like me, I do like the thinner necks, just so I can have a closer contact point with how I finger my chords like this. Like I was mentioning earlier, KoAlohas are just really easy to play. They're set up really nice, and I just love the sound, the texture and the timbre of KoAloha ukuleles. It has a nice mid-range tone too, so like if you were to strum it, I'm not going to strum too loud, but if you were to strum on this ukulele, it just has such a mid-range sound where it's not boomy, it doesn't jump out at you too much. It's like you can dig into it, but the sound, the overall balance of the strings and the sounds of each string, it just remains the same no matter how much you, like the low G string doesn't boom out or get boomy, the C string doesn't get boomy, the A or E string doesn't woof or bark out or just project too much. It's just, everything is very nice and balanced. So if you want to do more faster strumming, if you want to play Hawaiian music, this ukulele is right for the job. But what's also good too with that nice balance of each string is that when you do fingerstyle, everything's just nice and balanced. It's just, nothing sticks out more than one another. Listen to that tone. I'm just so happy that I get to go ahead and play this and share this with you folks, share my thoughts and what I'm hearing, what's going on in my head. Check it out. must there because again, this instrument just don't want the sound to stop, so I'm just gonna go ahead and keep playing it. So here is a sample of what this instrument sounds like with strumming.